All right, let's now take you back to Durban following that temple collapse. Let's take you there live.
The rescue teams are busy doing their work on site, and the law enforcement agencies are currently doing their own investigations. Our disaster team is also on the ground assessing the disaster that has actually happened. As soon as all of that investigation has happened, we'll then release information to the media. Our team in the metro will also be checking whether there's been any compliance with the building regulations as far as it relates to our authority as a city. Once we have done all that investigation, we'll then make it public, as it were. So far, yes, they've been able to rescue and some people. The number will be confirmed, but currently there are people entrapped. We don't know how many there are, and as yet, but there is a reported fatality. It's only one fatality so far, and but we don't know now with the time it has taken to rescue those that are entrapped, whether they will still find those still entrapped alive. But we can only keep them in our prayers. We keep their families in our prayers, that they be found alive, so that we're able to rescue them and then take them to places where they'll receive what you call health care. So that's all we can report so far. This incident is one incident that in the city that is fast developing, would not want to hear about. And hence we emphasize all the time that there be compliance with the building regulations. But because when things like this happen in the city, it sends wrong messages across, as if we're a city that it does not enforce the law. But I'm not making any statement in that regard as yet, but we will investigate it. I must assure the public that will leave no stone unturned, that if there has to be any consequence management, that consequence management will be applied, and so that if there is anyone who thinks of bypassing the law and doing their own thing, they will know that you can't do in the city of Durban. We are a city of laws. We enforce our own laws. That's all I can report at this point.
I just want to clarify a point, because the statement that was issued earlier says categorically that there was no plan in place for this building. So I want to just understand the point. Are you still investigating whether there is a plan, or have you already determined that and your investigation will be looking at other issues of compliance?
Well, look, let me release a statement once I've confirmed that information, and yet it's still a rumor, and so I can't convey a rumor to the public.
But the statement came from the municipality. It was issued this afternoon saying that there's no plan in place for this building. So I just want to confirm if that is the case, and what other compliance will you be looking at?
Well, yes, I've seen that statement, but I need to confirm it myself, because as the mayor of the city, anything I say here, and it becomes carries the authority of the city. I'm not disputing anything, but before I mention that publicly in front of the nation, and I must be sure that I'm correct on the facts. I mean, this thing just happened some few hours back, so I want people to double check whatever information that they come across. I'm giving them space to verify the information, and so that the information we release is credible and yes, it's beyond reproach.
Talking about double checking, Mayor, we had initially received reports stating that 2 people are deceased. The confirmation perhaps that you can give us at this particular point, how many are deceased and how many are still entrapped?
Well, I selected my words carefully when I said at least one is confirmed. at least one is confirmed dead, and there'll be many more. You can see the work is underway. So we'll confirm that as soon as we get the information from the rescue teams.
In terms of the manpower on the ground, Mayor, do you need additional teams who perhaps come and assist in this operation?
Well, it is my wish that if the team that is on the ground currently needs more capacity, they would make that known so that we beef them up, because this time around in an incident like this is so urgent that we get to where those entrapped are. So if that requires more resources, and those resources are within our own environment, we'll certainly release those resources.
Generally speaking, Mayor, not referring of course to this particular building, how rife is the problem of illegal structures in Ethekwini?
Well, I shouldn't say that they are rife, because there is nothing to indicate that to me. But all I know is that our teams are always on the ground, the building inspectors on the ground to assess, and if they found you doing a construction that is not reported or registered in our office, they force people to cease operation. I've seen that happening across the town, because not only happening only in relation to a new establishment. People in the formal establishment, they take chances, upgrade their properties or do some extension, with thinking that they can do it without following the rules. So our team always on the ground. But as you know, and we will not have every team in every area, but we rely on whistleblowers to give us information so that we can act on it as quickly as possible. So we have so many construction happening within the city. So it requires people to be vigilant, and that if they suspect any illegal activity, they report that so that we can act on it.
Mr. Mayor, that's an issue that I wanted to talk about as well, about the inspections, right? Because someone made a comment to me earlier down here, and they said, if I put up a carport at my house, I'll have building inspectors on my back, but then a big structure like this is going up, and then it manages to escape any eyes. So I know that you're talking about whistleblowing, but do you think that it's time to strengthen your capacity when it comes to inspections? Because we've seen so many of these cases, and then lives are lost, and then we hear that they must be inspections that are done earlier. The labor inspectors were here as well. And just to add on to that issue, another comment that was made was it's hard to track some of the individuals that are working here because there's a possibility that they may be undocumented. So those are two issues that I'm asking about whether you have capacity and you must strengthen it to inspect this, and then the people that are working on these sites, if we are watching that closely enough to find out if authorized people and legal people in the country are actually working on construction sites.
Well, I wouldn't say that for now we don't have adequate capacity to deal with the problem. If you consider the number of cases where our team have descended and stopped construction from happening because people had not obtained the necessary permissions to either do expansion or do whatever upgrade on their properties. Because for any change you make to your property, you've got to touch base with our offices and get the necessary approvals before you do any changes to your own structure. So considering the number of cases that I've seen myself, that our team have to move in and stop them from going ahead, I wouldn't say that there's an issue of capacity. Of course, there may be one or two that escape the eye, but I wouldn't want to say this is one of them. Like as I said, that we are still going to do an investigation, check if it is true, the information you've got, that they did not have the building permit, and then we'll then take it up from there.
And in the undocumented foreign nationals that we are hearing about, I'm not saying that it's confirmed here, I'm just relating some of the concerns that exist here in terms of tracing people, because they say that they do not necessarily have the details and the documents for those people. So are you finding that to be a problem in construction? in Ethekwini?
Well, I wouldn't say that for a fact that there were undocumented people in the thing, but the information about the details of the people who were injured and those who may be deceased would then give us that information as to whether were these South Africans or undocumented individuals. We mustn't take everyone we see who's not South African as an undocumented person. We've got to have proof that this person, yes, is not from South Africa, is a foreigner, and but is in the country without the necessary documentation, and then that becomes an issue on its own for investigation.
Have you received a report or a brief, Mayor, in terms of the people that are still entrapped? We received indication that someone had called from beneath the rubble a couple of hours ago. It is 7:15 now. The building collapsed around 12. So when was the last time the people that are entrapped actually communicated with the search and rescue teams?
Well, the information is that there is one confirmed deceased, but there is another one who was still communicating. But judging by the time he last communicated with people above the ground, and they suspect that he might have, collapsed, or they maybe something might actually be preventing him to further communicate. I don't know what that is, but the investigation like they are doing now will then reveal what is the latest on those entrapped. Yes, indeed, I must confirm there are still people entrapped, but we don't know the number now, but we can confirm one deceased. But of course, as soon as they get right to the bottom of the problem, they will then give us the statistics as to how many they still found alive. I'm using the term at least one advisedly because I don't know how many there are. There may be more than one. And so if you look at the time now it has taken for us to reach out to them, you can see that it's becoming a desperate situation. That's all I can say.
All right. Thank you so much. That's the Mayor of Ethekwini. They're giving us an update in terms of the investigations, or rather the operations that are currently ongoing right behind us, of course, following that unfortunate collapse of the temple here in Verulam. Of course, the confirmation coming through from the Mayor is that there is one fatality, and of course they are going to now formally start an investigation to get a sense of whether the structure was illegally built here. The municipality did earlier on issue a statement to say that their preliminary investigations do suggest that the structure was illegally built, but of course the mayor now saying that he has to probe that further in terms of the credibility of that information, of course saying that rescue teams are still on the ground trying really to assist those who are still trapped. We don't know the numbers of those who are still trapped at the moment in Bali, but as you can see there, probably in my visuals, it's dark now, but rescue teams are still very much hard at work.
All right, Simpiwe, thank you so much for that update. That's SABC News reporter there, Simpiwe Makanya, just giving us the latest update. And as you saw there a bit earlier on, of course, the mayor of Ethekwini, Cyril Xaba, also giving us the latest updates when it comes to that structure that collapsed earlier on today. And we understand that took place at around midday. And so far, 7 people being rescued. The mayor there only being able to confirm that there is one fatality so far. So one person has died in that temple collapse. Also, more investigations coming out, or reports are coming out, that it seems as if this may have been an illegal structure, and it seems as if the city of Ethekwini did not approve the building of this structure.